Well, hey guys, how's it going? Welcome to today's Coffee and Christ.
Coffee?
Yay, coffee. I actually have mine for the second time. I mean, there is a second time for everything, apparently.
Yeah.
Well, how y'all been doing? We know how we've been doing. In fact, we thought we'd share some of our recent weeks. And we're going to start with you because you just have a great story.
Why do you laugh?
I'm sorry to laugh at your pain. I really don't mean to. It's just one of those, I'm glad it's not me.
Thanks.
You're welcome.
All right, a couple of weeks ago, started noticing in our front yard and our backyard these little teeny holes that were dug into our yard. Now, I really had an inkling of thinking, man, I think I know what's doing these, but I didn't want to admit it to myself that it was actually happening. But it was. Do you know who's digging the little holes?
Pepe Le Pew.
Skunks. Because you see, they love to eat the little grubs that are in lawns. And so the skunks have decided that our front yard and backyard is the feeding ground. Well, I thought, okay, skunks, if they come and eat, we need to take care of the grubs. But then I noticed underneath our deck, they had dug a little tunnel. And I thought, oh no, they're not actually living. So I set up a trail cam, and lo and behold, there was a mommy and a daddy skunk, and they're living underneath our
You're going to have
deck.
some baby skunks.
I don't want baby skunks.
That's not good.
It's not good at all. So now I'm highly motivated to do something about it. I called the people, we got traps set up for the last 2 nights, and still no skunks have been caught. They're still living under there. I'm highly motivated to get rid of the skunks in my life.
Well, my experience has been just kind of the opposite. I have had no motivation whatsoever. In fact, yesterday, my level of motivation was so low. I was starting to have a kind of an attitude. My wife told me in no uncertain terms I was having an attitude. And she said it was time to leave the house. It was time to leave the house, go do something. So Aurora, Manny, me, all jumped in the car. And we decided to just go for a drive and look at some houses that were for sale, just kind of get out of the house and do something different. It was really nice. It was nice to get out, nice to drive there in the sun. It was like 70 degrees yesterday. It was great.
Beautiful, yeah.
It was wonderful. But my level of motivation on the whole is just kind of taking a little bit of a nosedive,
And I had to be honest with you, brother. Short of that spontaneous motivation to take care of skunks, I've been on the same path you have. And I'd imagine that most of the folks that are watching this can relate to this, that you've got certain things that stimulate you to actually do, like, well, we got to eat, or, oh, laundry. So you're motivated to do certain things, but the rest,
Yeah, and so we just kind of wanted to talk today about the effects that we perceive that are happening within our lives, not only with our levels of motivation that, at least for us, have kind of taken a nosedive, and probably for you too, but we also wondered, how has this scenario affected our spiritual lives?
Yeah.
It's been like 9 weeks since we were able to do in-person services, and to some extent, the effects that are around us, the people that are around us, help motivate our spiritual lives. That whole idea of like iron sharpens iron.
yeah.
That in some ways, those external factors really help us. And it can be hard when it's just totally reliant upon us to motivate ourselves.
It's amazing to me how important, I knew how important gathering together has been in many ways, but I haven't known how important it is to this level. How I needed that motivation and what I get from being together with brothers and sisters in Christ, worshiping together, singing together, face to face. And man, that really did help carry me and keep me on a more level plane, energy-wise, spiritually, when we had that chance. But now that we've been apart from each other, I've noticed that my spirituality has not been where it needs to be. So we thought it'd be a good idea to encourage us in this thought that maybe, just maybe, we're all like this, to do something to help.
Yeah.
And that is...
Well, to create some moments of solitude with God. It's not going to be the same as getting together, but
Nope.
as we longingly look forward to resuming those in-person services, that we be intentional to create some moments alone with God
Yes.
as we seek to grow our spiritual lives.
Yeah.
And for each one of us, that might look a little different. For you, I know you have that prayer room set up in your house, that place where you guys have seen so many of the paintings. And for some of you, creating an opportunity to be alone with God in prayer might be exactly what you need to do.
Yeah. taking walks, taking bike rides, going to a quiet place in your house, but intentionally spending time, not just flying through it, but intentionally spending time to start thinking about, God, where are you? Where are you in my life? Where am I connected to you? Where are you in my marriage, and how am I applying you? And if we're finding that there's a void, if there's a place that we're lacking, then there can be some motivation to start seeking a little bit more. How can I apply more of God in my marriage? How can I apply more of you, Lord, in my own personal walk, my own personal studies, my own being a parent and a friend? And so it's taking that moment of having the quiet time to look for where God is in your life, to then help perhaps motivate you to find those places and those cracks and those areas of life where you can apply more of God.
In other words, as we reflect upon how God has been active in our lives up to this point, it can help motivate us to continue to pursue Him.
Yep.
Our strength comes not from ourselves. Our strength comes from the one whom we serve, comes from our God. And so we wanted to encourage you to tap into that strength. Spend some alone time with God as you tap into Him. And in fact, we kind of wanted to end with some encouragement from Isaiah chapter 40. Isaiah chapter 40 and verse 31. Well, 30 and 31.
Yep.
Even youth shall faint and be weary, and young men shall fall exhausted. But they who wait for the Lord shall renew their strength. They shall mount up with wings like eagles. They shall run and not be weary. They shall walk and not faint. So as you longingly look forward to the time when we can all be back together, as we longingly wait for that time together, let's take some time to invest in our relationship with God through moments, creating moments of solitude, knowing that our strength flows from Him. Thank you guys for tuning in. May the Lord bless you and keep you. May His face shine upon you and give you strength.